Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got some pre-1961 Bats League. Here on May 2nd, we got the Yankees traveling to Baltimore to take on the Orioles. In a three-game series, first game of the series, we'll have leading off for the New York Yankees playing second base, Tony Lazaria. Batting second, playing shortstop is Phil Rizzuto. Batting third, playing left field, Babe Ruth. Batting fourth, playing right field, Mickey Mantle. Batting fifth, playing first base, Lou Gehrig. Batting sixth, playing center field, Joe DiMaggio. Batting seventh and doing the catching, Yogi Berra. Batting eighth, playing third base is Red Ruff. And batting ninth and doing the pitching is Lefty Gomez. And for the hometown Baltimore Orioles, we got leading off playing center field, Baby Doll Jacobson. And batting second playing right field is Jake Tobin. Batting third playing first base, George Sisler. Batting fourth playing left field, Ken Williams. Batting fifth playing third base, Harlan Clift. Batting sixth doing the catching, Rick Farrer. Batting seventh playing second base, Sky Malaloa. Batting eighth playing shortstop, Bobby Wallace. And on the mound batting ninth is Barney PELTY. Let's get down here to Baltimore and get this game started.
Malillo.
And as you can see, the team comparison, the Yankees are 8-5. They've scored 67 runs on 40 homers and stolen 3 bases. The Orioles are 6-8. They've scored 71 runs on 10 homers, 1 stolen base, and have been caught once. And Tony Lazaria is up. He's batting .326, 2 homers and 4 RBIs on the year. And he'll be facing Barney Pelt. This is Pelt's third start of the year. He's 0-1 with a 9.53 ERA. Here's the pitch to Tony. And right away, that ball is high. How far is this one going to go, folks? That is the question. And that ball is out of here. Tony rips that one down the left field bleachers, and that's a lead-off homer. Tony gives the Yankees a quick 1-0 lead, folks. Yeah, we got the Yankees already got 1 run across before the people in Baltimore can even take their seat. And Rizzuto's up, batting .163 with a homer and 5 RBIs. And that's going to be against a righty, 18. And that's going to be a nice play down at short by Wallace. He fires across the diamond to get the first out of the game. Brings up Babe Ruth now with nobody on and 1 out. And Ruth's batting .333, 8 homers and 15 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. And Tobin is not a good fielder out there, and that's going to be a single. And Ruth's going to get down to second on the air on the E9. So now you got a runner down at second and 1 out for the Mickey Mantle up now. And Mick's off to a slow start here in this season. Batting .167 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. See if he can break out of it here in Baltimore. Here's the pitch to Mick. And that's going to be a ground ball down the first. And that'll get the runner over to third. As he tosses that ball over to Barney covering. So Mick advances the runner, and now there's 2 outs and a runner down at third for Lou Gehrig. And Lou's batting .413 on the year, folks. He's got 8 homers and 14 RBIs. And that's going to be against the righty. That'll be a 12. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. And Lou just doubled your fun, doubled your pleasure, and doubled this lead with double mint gum. And it is now 2-0 New York. Now Lou's down at first with 2 outs for Joe DiMaggio. Joe is batting 209 on the year, 2 homers and 6 RBIs. And that's going to be 2 balls and no strikes on Joe. Can he do something with this 2-0 pitch? And he does, folks. That ball is high. That ball is far. How far is this one going to go? And it's out of here. That's a home run by Joe DiMaggio. And they just doubled the lead again, folks. It just went from 2 to nothing to 4 to nothing. Quickly, these Orioles are in trouble here in the top of the first. As Barney can't get out of this inning now. There's 2 outs. All this coming with 2 outs these last 3 runs. Yogi's up now, batting 192, nobody on, and 2 outs. The Yankees got 4 runs across already. Here's the pitch to Yogi, and that's going to be a 17. That's going to be an infield hit. Yogi has a nice ball up the middle and gets knocked down by a ski, but he's not going to have a throw. Yogi's down at first now with 2 outs and Reds up. And Reds batting 214 on the year, no homers and 4 RBIs. And that's going to do it. That's going to be a ground ball down the first. And George will take it himself to end the inning. But the Yankees plate 4. We go to the bottom of the first. New York 4, Baltimore coming to bat with Jacobson, Tobin, and Sisler. You got Baby Doll batting 286 on the year with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Going up against Lefty Gomez, his 3rd start of the year. He's 1-0 with a 2.51 ERA. Here's the pitch to Baby Doll, and that's going to be a base hit in the right field. So the Orioles got the leadoff batter aboard here against Lefty. And Johnny Tobin's up now. Orioles need base runners as they're down by 4. And Tobin's batting 500 on the year, folks, with 2 homers and 8 RBIs. So this is not who you want up if you're a Yankee fan with runners on, huh? And he proves it. He gets a hold of this. Orioles coming right back here in the bottom of the first. And that's going to be a double in the right field with nobody out. Are they going to try to chance it? Because Mick's got a cannon out there. So that'll be a double in the right field of 42. Minus that 37 arm. But of course, Baby Doll is one of the fastest guys in baseball. A 22. And they're not going to chance it. They're going to hold him up at 3rd. So that's a double in the right field. Down by 4. Nobody out. There's no reason to chance it, especially here in the first inning. Give up an out. So you got George Sisler up with runners on 2nd and 3rd, and Sisler batting 213 with no homers and 7 RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. And Joe's out there, and he's got a cannon out there also. And that's going to be fielding column 1. That'll be, we need another dice roll. And that's going to be a 46 minus the 39 plus the 17. That'll be a 24. They're going to send him here. 24. And 24. That'll be a 46 or lower. A runner on 2nd is going to tag up also. So if he's safe, he's going to be safe at 3rd. So we got a 24. 46 or lower. He's safe at the plate. And he's safe. So that's a sacrifice fly in the center field. So the runner on 3rd advances. The runner on 2nd advances. And it's 4-1. Now there's 1 out with a runner on at 3rd. And the Yankees will play back with a 3-run lead. And that brings up Ken Williams now. Williams is batting 340 on the year with 2 homers of his own, 9 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second on and the runner will score. So he fires over to first. That's 2 outs now and nobody on, but the Orioles have cut this lead in half, made it a 4-2 ball game. Right back in it now as the Yankees busted out to a 4-0 lead as Beetle joins us here tonight. And Harlan Clift is up, and Clift's batting 235 on the year. He's got a homer and 6 RBIs, nobody on and 2 outs, and the Orioles with 2 runs played it. And that's going to be another ground ball down to Tony. That'll end the inning. But the Orioles get 2 on 2 hits and make it a 4-2 game as we go to the top of the second. We got Gomez due up. Then back to the top of the order in Tony and Phil. Lefty is 0 for 4 in the year. See if he can get on base here. And that's going to be a ground ball back to Barney. And Pelt throws over to first. And that'll be out number 1. Back to the top of the order. And Tony started this game off with a homer. Give the Yankees a 1-0 lead. See what he does his second time up. As you can see, the Yankees schedule. They got 2 more games here in Baltimore. Then they go on the road to play 2 in Chicago. And then they head down the nation's capital to play the Senators. And that's going to be a base on balls. They don't want nothing to do with Tony now. I don't know how smart that is, walking him, getting him on base for the big boys coming up. And we're going to do a little hit and run here with Phil Rizzuto to try to stay out of the double play and maybe get Phil hitting here. He grounded out to short his first time up. And that's going to be a 35 on a hit and run strike. And the runner's going to steal second, folks. Oh, hold on a second. We got to see what the catcher is. So, a 65 and a 8. That's going to be fielding column 3. So that is going to be a strike and a stolen base. So hold on here. We got a strike on Phil, but we get a runner down at second on the stolen base by Tony. So 1 strike, 0-1 pitch to Phil now with a runner in scoring position. Here's the pitch to Rizzuto, and that ball is crushed. And this is one of Beetle's favorite shortstops of all time. Just gets a hold of this one, drives that ball into the gap in left field, and that'll be a RBI double. And that makes it a 5-2 ball game. And that brings up Babe Ruth now with a runner down at second. And Ruth singled and came around the score. And it's early in this game. But do you walk Ruth and pitch to Mick? Mick is struggling here. I think you walk Ruth, and you make Mick beat you. Sets up the double play. So Ruth's going to get the intentional walk. That brings up Mick with runners on first and second. Like I said, sets up the double play to get out of the inning. And Mick, he grounded out to first his first time up. Here's the pitch to Mick, and he makes them pay, folks. That ball is blasted. Mick, can he finally start hitting here? That ball is high. How far is this ball going to go? And it's out of here. Mick launches out into deep center field, and it is now an 8-2 ball game. And that's going to be it for Barney. He can't even get out of the second inning. So we're going to bring in here for some long relief as Barney has gotten lit up. 4 runs in the first, 4 runs here in the second. And old sad Sam Gray is going to come out and try to eat up some innings here. Try to eat up some innings as Barney can't get the job done. Sure. Yankees coming to Baltimore and just laying a wood to him. And Mick with his, I think it's only his 3rd home run. Yep, only his 3rd home run, and that was RBIs 7, 8, and 9. And here comes Lou Gehrig up now. As, like I say, the Orioles are going to make a pitching change here. Bring in Gray. Hey, what's going on, Ken? This ain't no pitching duel this time, bud. And not compared to that Cubs Giant games. This is a rock'em sock'em game. Now you got Lou up. He is 1-for-1 with a single and an RBI. Nobody on and one out after 4 runs have come across. The big hit was the Mickey Mantle 3-run homer after being walked intentionally, Babe Ruth. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third. They get Lou out. They fire across to George. That brings up Joe DiMaggio now with 2 outs. And Joe, he hit a 2-run homer back in the first inning. See what Joe does here. And that's going to be against a 15. That's going to be an infield hit. Joe hits the ball down the short. He knocks it down, but no way they're getting DiMaggio with his speed. So he's on with 2 outs, and Yogi's up. Everybody's favorite Yogi. And he's 1-for-1 today as everybody gets a hit. You get a hit, he gets a hit. Yogi's got a hit. And he's got another one, folks. And there don't matter who the Orioles bring out there, they're just unloading on them. How far is this ball going to go? And that ball is rocketed out into right field, and it's rolling around. And Yogi puts on the Jets and sends the Beatles here. This is going to be a triple, folks. Yogi with an RBI triple makes it 9-2. Now there's a runner down at third and 2 outs. And Sam is sad right now. Sad Sam Gray. Can't get the job done either. He's given up 2 hits and 1 run of his own. And here's the pitch to Red. Red's 0-for-1 today, grounded out the first, his first time up. And that's going to be a base on balls. And that'll bring up Lefty now. See if Gomez can get something done here. Lefty grounded out to his counterpart in the first. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes Lefty out. That ends the inning. But the Yankees score 5 more and take a 9-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the second. Farley is due up, followed by
Melillo.
and then Wallace. Can the Orioles scratch some runs back just like they did in the first? And Farley is batting .250. Rick has got no homers and 5 RBIs on the year. And that's going to be a fly ball out to center field. DiMaggio's got it. That'll be out number 1. And Sky's up now. And Sky, he is 0-for-11, folks. Can he get off the snide here and give these Orioles some life? Not this time. That ball's hit down the second to his counterpart, Tony. He fires over to first, and there's 2 quick outs. Seems like Lefty's calmed down after that rough first inning with a 9-run lead. You got to challenge these batters. I don't see why not. And Bob, he is batting .255. Wallace has no homers and 2 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. And Lefty's going to boot this one, folks. That's an E1. He holds on to it after bobbling it. Wallace will be down at first. And like I say, we're going to let Sam try to pitch some innings here. So there's 2 outs. We're not pitch hitting for him. Can't burn their bullpen up in this first game. And this is Sam's first plate appearance of the year. And in 1928, Gray hit 188. He did have a homer and 9 RBIs, so you can't groove one here. Sam will take you deep. And that's going to be a fly ball out to the right field. Mix there. Makes the catch. And that ends the inning. To the top of the third we go. And a 9-2 ball game in the top of the order due up here for the Yankees. for the third time already in this game, and we're only in the third inning. Tony is 1-for-1. He has a homer. He's walked, stolen a base, came around the score both times. Here's the pitch to Tony, and that's going to be the first time they get him out. He strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Gray. Second strikeout, sorry. And we got Phil Rizzuto up now. He had grounded out to short in the first and hit an RBI double in the second. Here's the pitch to Phil. And that's going to be a ground ball down the cliff. Down at third, he fires over to George. 2 outs. And that brings up Babe Ruth. He was intentionally walked his last time up, and then Mick followed with the 3-run homer. He singled and came around the score back in the first. He's 1-for-1, and that's going to be against the righty 12, and that's going to be a ground ball down the third. Oh, Cliff was busy in this inning. Nice play by him to take a base hit away from Ruth, maybe a double. That ends the inning. The Yankees go down 1-2-3. Gray settles down after the rocky second. And as you can see, the Yankees have scored 67 runs on 40 homers coming into this game and 3 stolen bases. Orioles 71 runs, 10 homers, 1 stolen base, and 1 caught stealing. And we're back to the top of the order for the Orioles. Jacobson, Tobin, and Sisler. Baby Doll started this game off with a single and came around the score. Here's the pitch to him, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. Lefty strikes him out for out number 1. And here's Johnny Tobin. And Johnny, he doubled and came around the score back in the first. And he gets a hold of this one. Tobin having a nice game here against Lefty. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. He's 2-for-2. As Mick gets over and cuts it off, and they're not going to chance Mick's arm out there. So that brings up Sisler now with a runner down at first and 1 out. And Sisler had a sacrifice fly his first time up. Here's the pitch to George. And that's going to be against the lefty. That'll be a 19. And that's going to be a fly ball in the left field. Roos got it for out number 2. And it's up to Ken Williams to do something here with Jack down at first, trailing by 7. And Ken, he grounded out the second at back in the first, but he did drive in a run. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Mick. He waits for it to come down, makes the catch. And Orioles stand 1 to the top of the 4th we go. Talking about Mick, he'll lead it off here for the Yankees, followed by Gehrig and DiMaggio. And Mick, like I say, he's 1-for-2. He grounded out the first in the first inning, but in the second, he hit a 3-run shot. Here's the pitch to Mick. See if this gets him started. That's going to be a ground ball again down the third. Hit a lot of ground balls down the third in this game. That'll be out number 1. Here comes Lou Gehrig up. He's 1-for-2. He singled in the first and drove in a run. And he grounded out the third back in the second. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes Lou out for out number 2. Sam's starting to settle down. That's 5 Yankees out in a row for him. Here comes Joe DiMaggio, 2-for-2 today. 2-run homer and singled in the second and came around the score. And that'll be the first time they get him out. That's hit down the second. Sky's got it over to George. And that's another 1-2-3 inning for Gray. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Talking about the man that's been busy out on the field. Cliff's due up, followed by Farrell and Sky. And Harlan, he's 0-for-1, grounded out to second his first time up. That's going to be a fly ball out the left. Babe Ruth got it for out number 1. And here comes Rick. And Farrell is 0-for-1. He flew out the center. DiMaggio his first time up. That's going to be a fly ball, but this time Ruth calls for it, makes the catch. And that's 2 down. 2 fly balls to Ruth and 2 outs. See if Ruth can tie a record held by many and make another put out here. And Sky's 0 for 1. He grounded out to his counterpart at second his first time up. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. Mick can't get to that one. It drops in for a 2-out single. And Bobby Wallace is up now. And Bobby is 0 for 1 today. He did reach on an error by Lefty his first time up, though. And that's going to be against the lefty, a 19. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Ruth. So Ruth does set a record held by many. All 3 putouts in this inning was Ruth. And we go to the top of the 5th as the Orioles strand 1. And it's still a 9-2 ball game. We got Yogi, Red, and Lefty due up here. Yogi is 2 for 2, singled and had an RBI triple back in the second. As you can see, the Yankees have struck out 93 times. They've walked 71 times. They've hit 34 doubles, 10 triples. The Orioles have struck out 38 times. They've walked 52, hit 50 doubles, and 16 triples. Here's the pitch to Yogi. And that's going to be a ground ball back to Gray. He tosses it over to first. And that'll be out number 1. And Red's up now. And Red's 0 for 1. He has grounded out the first and walked back in the second. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second again. Well, no, it was down the first time up, but that'll be out number 2. And up to the plate now is Lefty. And Lefty is 0 for 2. He grounded out to the pitcher in the second and came back up a second time in the second inning and struck out. And that's going to be a ground ball again down the second. And that'll end the inning. The Yankees go down 1, 2, 3. Things have settled down since that second inning now. And we're back to the bottom of the order for the Orioles. And I think we're going to let Gray Lease pitch one more inning here. We're going to give him one more inning. So he's going to bat for himself. Gray flew out the right his first time up. And we don't need no stinking DH. Gray squares this one up, folks. He drives that ball in the right field. Mick has to get over there fast. Cuts it off. Gray has himself a leadoff single. We don't need no stinking DH. These pitchers can hit, folks. And that brings up Baby Doll. Jacobson's 1 for 2. Singled back in the first and scored. Struck out in the third. And that's going to be against the lefty, 16. That's going to be a pop-up down the third. Red out there in shallow left makes the catch. We're out number 1. Here's Johnny. Johnny's having a damn good game at the plate. He's 2 for 2. He doubled in the first and came around the score, singled in the third. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. And that's going to be a single to right. Runner out trying for third. Don't understand that. Why in the hell is Gray, with his terrible speed, trying to get the third? So it's a terrible base running blunder by him. And the batter, Tobin, will get down the second on the throw. But now there's 2 outs and a runner down at second. Not very, very heads up base running. Terrible base running, to be honest. Now Tobin's down at second. George Sisler at the plate. He had a sacrifice fly back in the first. Flew out the left in the third. And that's going to be a 19 and a 9. That's going to be a ground ball down the first. Lou's got it. tosses it over to lefty, and that'll end the inning. And the Orioles strand another one. And we go to the top of the sixth, top of the order due up here for the Yanks. Tony, Phil, and Babe. Tony is 1 for 2 with a solo homer in the first, walked and stole second in the second, and struck out in the third. And that's going to be a ground ball back to Gray. He tosses it over to the first for out number 1. Here comes Phil up now. Rizzuto's 1 for 3. He grounded out the short in the first, had an RBI double in the second, and grounded out the third in the third. And that's going to be a ground ball down to George. He calls off Sam, takes it himself for out number 2. And here comes Babe Ruth up now. Like I say, since the second inning, Gray has settled down here after coming in and giving up a run. Ruth's 1 for 2. He is singled, came around the score in the first, walk came around the score in the second, and grounded out the third in the third. And that's going to be a ground ball out in front of the plate, a 42 and an 8. Should be fielding column 1. And it is. And that's going to be a nice play by Rick. He pounces on it, fires down to George, and the Yankees go down in order. And it's still 9-2 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. You got Williams due up here, followed by Clift and Farrell. And Ken is 0 for 2. He is grounded out the second, drove in a run in the first, flew out the right in the third. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Lefty strikes him out for only the second strikeout of the game for Lefty. And here comes Clift. And Clift is 0 for 2. Grounded out the second, flew out the left. And that's going to be another fly ball out the left. And Babe's got it for out number 2. And here comes Rick up now. And Rick's 0 for 2. He's flown out the center and the left. And he gets a hold of this, drives it in the right field. Mick takes it on the bounce, fires it in. That's a 2-out single. And now Sky is up. And Sky is 1 for 2. Got his first hit back in the fourth. And grounded out the second in the second. So here's Sky. He's going to start getting hot. That's going to be a fly ball out to Mick. That ends the inning. And we go to the top of the 7th, a 9-2 game. And do we want to do a double switch here and get Sam out of the game? I think that's what we'll do, and Sky will come out. So who can come in and play second? And Marty McManus will come in. And who's going to come in the pitch here? You got the switch hitting Mick, lefty, and then a righty. So Mick doesn't hit lefties that good. See if they got a lefty in the bullpen. They got one lefty, Hamilton. I don't think they're going to go to him yet. I think they'll save him. Don't want to burn this bullpen up. Let's see. I think they're going to go to Milt Pappas. He's going to come in and try to eat up the rest of this game. That's what they're going to do. So Milt's going to come in. He's going to bat in the 7th spot. And then Marty will come in and bat in the 9th spot and play second. So Pappas and McManus will come in the game. So like I say, Marty will come in and bat in the 9th spot. Sky comes out and Pappas will bat in the 7th spot. And they'll be facing the big boys in this lineup. Mano, Garrigan, DiMaggio, Milt Pappas, 6th appearance. He's 1-0 with a 2.79 ERA. Mick's 1 for 3 today with a 3-run homer. He's grounded out the first in the first. He's grounded out the third in the fourth. and that's going to be against the righty. That'll be a 12, and that's going to be a ground ball down the third. That'll be out number 1. And that brings up Lou now. And Lou's 1 for 3 with a single, a ground out the third, and a strikeout. And that's going to be against the righty. That'll make him a 9. And that's going to be a 8. Yep, that's going to be a single in the left field. So Lou's aboard for the second time today with a single. And that brings up Joe DiMaggio. And Joe's having a heck of a game here today, folks. He's 2 for 3 with a 2-run homer. He did ground out the second his last time up. And here's the pitch to Joe. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Joe walks on down to first, Lou's down at second. And here comes Berra up now. Yogi with runners in scoring position, with Lou down at second, DiMaggio down at first, and only 1 out here. And Yogi is 2 for 3. He got an RBI triple. He singled and grounded out the first in the 5th. And that's going to be a pop up behind home plate near the netting. And Rick takes the mask off, makes the catch. So Yogi fouls out to his counterpart. Now there's 2 down for Red. And Red is 0 for 2. He has grounded out the first and second and walked back in the second. And he gets a hold of this, folks. Red's going to drive in some runs here. And that ball is hit hard. That ball is hit deep in the right field. And Tobin misjudged it over his head. And Red's going to end up at third with a 2 RBI triple, folks. And it's now 11-2. And Lefty comes up with a runner down at third and 2 outs. And can he drive Red in and make this a 10-run ball game? And Lefty is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and struck out. And that's going to be a, let's see here, a 66. That's going to be a fly ball out to shallow right field in the foul territory. Tobin makes the catch in foul territory for out number 3, but the Yankees scored 2 more on the Red triple. To the 7th inning stretch we go. It's an 11-2 ball game, folks. We got Wallace, McManus, and then back to the top of the order in Jacobson. And Bobby Wallace is 0 for 2. He reached on an error in the second, flew out the left in the 4th. And that's going to be a ground ball down the field. Rizzuto at short. And that will be the first out here in the 7th. And Marty McManus came in on that double switch, his first plate appearance of the game. Batting .222 on the year with no homers and 8 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. Rizzuto's up with it, fires across the diamond for out number 2. And that'll bring up Baby Doll now. And Baby Doll is 1 for 3, singled in the first, struck out, and popped up the third after that. And that's going to be against the lefty, 16. And that's going to be a fly ball in the center field. DiMaggio makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 goes the Orioles. To the top of the 8th we go. And the top of the order due up. Tony, Phil, and Babe. Tony's 1 for 3 with that solo homer. He's walked, came around the score, struck out, and grounded out. And he's stolen the base today. And that's going to be a ground ball down the third. How many ground balls to third is that? Let's take a look here. It's a lot of ground balls down to third today. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 ground balls to third. That brings up Phil Rizzuto now. He's 1 for 4 with an RBI double in the second, and he's grounded out the other 3 times up. And that's going to be a base on balls. And you walk Phil Rizzuto, and up to the plate comes Babe Herman Ruth. And Babe's 1 for 3. He singled in the first, was intentionally walked in the second, and he's grounded out the third and to the catcher his other 2 times up. Here's the pitch to Ruth. And that's going to be a team. Let's see here. And that'll be fielding column 1. And that's going to be a wild pitch. Let's see. By a wild pitch 3 only. And he is a 3. So that's going to be a wild pitch. Rizzuto is going to get down the second. And now, even with 11-2 game, do you walk Ruth? I don't think so. I think they're going to pitch to Babe. It's 11-2 game, up by 9. They're going to pitch to him. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. Phil will make it down the third for out number 2 now. 2 down. Runner down at third for the Mick. See if Mick can drive him in here. Start hitting the ball. He's already got the 3-run homer today. He has grounded out the other 3 times. Twice to third. And over to first in the first. And that's going to be a against the righty 14. And Mick delivers here, folks. That's a single in the left field. Sorry, that's going to be against the righty. He's going to single in the right field as he pulls that ball in the right field for a base hit. And that scores Phil Rizzuto. And hopefully Mick is starting to hit now, folks. 3, 4 RBIs in the game. Mick's finally getting off the snide. Let's see here. And now you got Mick standing down at first for Lou Gehrig. Lou is having a fine game. He's 2 for 4 with an RBI. He has 2 singles, grounded out and struck out. And that's going to be a pop up near the dugout. Rick takes the mask off, makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. But the Yankees score 1, make it a 10-run ball game. It's 12-2. We go to the bottom of the 8th. You have Tobin, Sisler, and Williams due up here. Jack is a perfect 3 for 3. He's the only one that's figured out Mr. Lefty. He has a double and 2 singles. And he's got another single. Tobin, a perfect 4 for 4 today, folks. And Jack Tobin's hitting the cover off the ball this year. He's got a 543 batting average. Let's see what it is after that hit. Jack Tobin, excuse me, a 556 average. Jack Tobin is the man here. So you got a runner down at first. Nobody out for George Sisler. Sisler's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. He's flown out and grounded out. And that's going to be against the lefty, a 19. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short. And they'll get the lead runner down at second on the 6-4 put out. But Sisler's too fast. He beats the throw down to first. So now you got 1 out, a runner down at first for Ken Williams. Williams is 0 for 3. He does have an RBI in this game. He's grounded out, flown out, and struck out. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. 43 and a 1. Probably fielding column 3. Yep. Fielding column 3. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. The only play lefty has is over to first. The runner will get down in the scoring position now with 2 outs and Cliff's up. So you got a runner in scoring position, 2 outs, and Harlan is 0 for 3. He's grounded out and flown out the roof twice. And that's going to be a base on balls. So he's going to trot on down to first. That brings Rick up now with first and second. First real noise since the first inning for the Orioles. Runner in scoring position. Runner down at first with 2 outs, and Rick's 1 for 3. He has a single back in the 6th, and he's flown out the center and left his other 2 times up. And he gets a hold of this. Orioles are fighting back here in the 8th. And that ball is driven into the gap in right field. And let's see here, a 51. If he scores from first, a 51. Cliff's got decent speed, but again, Mick's got the cannon. Plus a 13. It's a 27. It's a 27. A 53 or lower, he'll score from first. And he scores from first. So that's a 2 RBI double in the right. And it is now a 12-4 ball game. And that's going to be it for Milt. Somebody else will have to come out here and pitch the 9th. And let's see who's going to come off the bench here against Lefty. They haven't gotten the bullpen up yet. But let's see here. Most of the righties are already in the game. It's a left-handed heavy bench here. And their red is going to come off the bench. See what old Ralph can do here for the Orioles. Where's Red at? There he is.
Chris.
And Red is batting .429 on the year. Kresh has no homers and 1 RBI. See what he can do here against Lefty. Runner down in second, 2 outs. 2 runs come across here in the 8th. And that's going to be a 26 on the catcher. That'll be fielding column 1. And that's going to be a strike. Runner called off second if neither team leads by more than 5 runs. And they do. So that's going to be a rare play on a 39 with a runner. Wait a second. That's runners on first. Let's do this again. A 39. And that's still runner called off second if neither team leads by 3. So that doesn't. So we'll have a rare play here with a runner down in second, a 39. And we'll have to re-roll the dice here. See what we get. And a 65 on a 39. And that's going to be a 27. That's the infield. Let's see what the infield is here. 9, 14, 15, 23, 23, 32, 37. That'll be fielding column 1. Fielding column 1. On a 29. That's going to be a double, and the runner's going to score, and the batter's going to be out trying for third. So a double into right, double in the right, and the batter's going to be out trying for third. Mick throws him out, trying for third again. Don't understand that base running. Don't understand that. Mick throws him out, folks. So we go to the top of the ninth. It's now a 12-5 ball game. And we got to get a new pitcher in here. See who's going to come in here and pitch. And Kramer, I believe, is going to come in to pitch. Hey, what's going on, Clinton? Yeah, got the best of the best here tonight. And Jack's tired, huh? Let's see who else can pitch in. I guess George is going to come in to pitch. Sorik's going to come in to pitch here in the ninth. I'll put him in the wrong spot. Cancel that. Cancel that. He's supposed to bat in the seventh hole. There we go. Now we got it right. So George is coming in here to face DiMaggio, Yogi, and Red. And DiMaggio is 2 for 3 today. And he has a 2-run homer. He has singled. And he has walked and grounded out the second his other time up. And he gets a hold of this one. And welcome to the game, George, because Joe DiMaggio has just hit his second home run of the game. That ball is far. That ball is high. That ball is out of here. Joe DiMaggio with the second home run of this ball game. It makes it a 13-5 game. And up to the plate's Mr. Berra. And Yogi's 2 for 4 with an RBI triple and a single. Grounded out and popped up his other 2 times up. That's going to be a ground ball down to Marty at second for out number 1. And up to the plate now is Red. And Red's 1 for 3. He's got a 2 RBI triple in the game. He has grounded out twice and walked. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. George is up with it, fires over to first, and that'll end the, no, it won't, that'll be 2 outs. That'll end the day for Lefty. After getting beat around in the 8th, he's coming out of the game. And let's see who's going to come off the bench here against George. And the Colonel, Earl Combs, is coming off the bench. So Earl come off the bench here. See if he can get aboard here with 2 outs in the 9th. With a run already in on the DiMaggio homer. And Earl is 0 for 1 on the year. He has walked and came around to score once. And that's going to be another ground ball back to the mound. And that'll end the inning. So the Yankees go down, but not until DiMaggio hits a homer in this inning to make it a 13-5 game. Let's see who's going to come out here and pitch here. And I think we're going to have our 3rd Red in the game. Ruffing is going to come in the game here and get through this 9th inning. And he'll be facing Wallace, McManus, and then back to Baby Doll. This is Red's first appearance of the year. That's hard to believe. First game of the year. And in 1939, He had a 2.93 ERA. He was 21-7. He started 28 games and completed 22 of them. And here's the pitch from Red to Bobby Wallace, who's 0 for 3. Reached on an air, grounded out, and flown out. And he gets a hold of this one off of Red. How far is this ball going to travel in the night? And that's going to be a double. That splits the gap out there between DiMaggio and Mick. The Orioles here in the last 2 innings starting to come alive. So now we've got a runner down at second and nobody out. And Marty's up. And Marty's 0 for 1 since he came in on that double switch, grounded out the short. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. And that's going to be a nice play by Red. He's going to fire it. Actually, that's going to be a ground ball down the first. Nice play by Lou. Comes up with it, tosses it over to Red. But the runner will get down to third with 1 out. And to the top of the order we go. And obviously, with an 8-run lead, the Yankees are playing back. Baby Doll's 1 for 4. Single back in the first. Struck out, popped up, and flown out since. And that's going to be another ground ball. And this one is going to be 56 and a 2. Might still be fielding column 3. And no, it's fielding column 2. It's going to be a line drive right back at Red. He catches that in self-defense. And that'll be out number 2. Bobby gets back to third. So now there's 2 outs. And here's the man that's for the Orioles today. A perfect 4 for 4. 3 singles and a double. And here's the pitch to Jack. And they finally get him out, folks. That's a ground ball down the field. He fires over to Lou. And that ends this ball game. Yankees win 13-5. Take a look here at the box score and the leaderboard and standings. First, the box score. As Joe DiMaggio has a 2-run homer game. The Yankees, 13 runs on 13 hits and an error. Orioles, 5 runs. They had 11 hits, most of them coming late in the ball game, and 1 error. The top of the order, look at that. 1 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 4. But they all walked. 1 walk apiece. They came around the score twice. You can't walk them boys. Then Mick, 2 for 5, starting to hit. A 4 RBI game for Mick. He had the 3-run homer that gave the Yankees at the time a 4-0 lead. You had Lou Gehrig. He was 2 for 5. Joe DiMaggio, 3 for 4 with 2 homers in the game. He drove in 3 runs. Yogi Berra, 2 for 5 ball game. Yankees 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They only left 5 men on base, folks. They just flat out delivered when they had the chance. Yeah, that's true, Clinton. Those Giant Cubs games were awesome, wasn't it? All 1-run games. Yep. Jack Tobin was the man for the Orioles. 5 for 4. Just nobody else could get her done. Rick, 2 for 4. Orioles were 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position, left 6 men on base. Lefty picks up his 2nd win, goes 8 innings, 10 hits. Kind of faltered there in the latter part of the game, giving up 5 runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Red comes in, pitches 1 inning, gives up 1 hit. And Barney PELTY, 0-2, can't get out of the 2nd inning. 1 1/3, 7 hits, 8 runs, walked 2, 3 home runs. Gray comes in, did a good job in relief. 4 2/3. He gave up that run, remember, as soon as he came in the game. After that, he shut the Yankees down in order. 2 hits, 1 run, walked 1, struck out 3. Milt Pappas comes in, throws gasoline on the fire. 3 hits, 3 runs, walked 2. George comes in, gives up the solo homer in the ninth, 1 inning, 1 hit, and a home run. And let's go take a look at the standings and the leaderboard here in the American League. Yeah, exactly. It happens, don't it? Can't have a good game every game. Let's take a look here at the standings and the leaderboard. And the Yankees are now a half a game up on the Tigers and Indians. White Sox are 2 games back. Senators 2.5. The Red Sox 3. Orioles 3.5. And the A's are now 4 games back. And Ted Williams is still leading the American League with a .463 batting average. And now you got Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth tied with 8 home runs. Ted Williams with 18 RBIs on the season. And Bob Shockey with that .4 ERA is leading the American League and Major Leagues. Ed Walsh still with 3 saves. And Joe Page with 4. Ed Walsh with 3 wins. Joe Page with 4 saves on the year. And Lou Gehrig's leading the league in the MVP voting. And Ed Walsh, he's leading in the Best Pitcher award. We haven't looked at this. Who's hot at the plate? Joe Adcock is batting .314. Shoeless Joe batting .346. Trusky .316. Ted Williams .414 in his last 8 games. And Willie Mays .314 in his last 10 games. And on the mound, Josh with a .5 ERA in his last 18 games. Hal Newhouser a .53 in 17 innings. And Dick Rudolph a 1 ERA in his 18 innings. Sam Gray, he has a 1.29 ERA in 7 innings pitched. And Mel Harder a 1.29 in 7 innings pitched. Well, Status Pro is a good game, Clinton. It was the second game I ever played. First was Apba, and then my buddy Troy Carter had Status Pro. Great engine. Alrighty, folks. The next game will be the second game of this series. Let's look at the pitch and matchup for it. On the third. And it's going to be Reynolds against Howell. So, see what kind of pitch and matchup that'll be. Reynolds going for the Yankees, and Howell going for the Orioles. I want to thank Clinton Parks, Beatles Eternally. Check out his great channel. Ken Castro. And I believe that was everybody, folks. Until next time, you guys have a great night. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. And on your way out of Baltimore, heading down 95, hit that like button and leave a comment. Y'all take care. Oh, Beto says he's going to do a Ernie Harwell game on Baseball for Windows. Go check that out, folks. Like I say, until next time, y'all have a great evening and take care. Oh, you're welcome, Ken, buddy.